Hello everyone, welcome back to Unveiling Mythical Legends. Today we're going to take you on a journey through a captivating Greek myth, exploring the god who rules the underworld, Hades. This powerful deity is not just a symbol of death. His story is filled with love, power struggles, and the whims of fate. Are you curious about the mysterious rules of the underworld, how Hades became the ruler of the dead, and even his dramatic love story with Persephone? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss any exciting content. If you enjoy this story, please share it with your friends and leave a comment below telling us your thoughts. Now, let's unravel the mysteries of Hades and the underworld together. Hades, the god of the underworld in Greek mythology, is the deity who rules over the realm of the dead, and his name is both mysterious and awe-inspiring. He is the son of Cronus and Rhea, and alongside Zeus and Poseidon, is one of the three major Olympian gods. Although Hades holds an important position in the mythological world, unlike his brothers, he is not as active in the mortal realm. Instead, he largely remains hidden within the underworld, ruling over that dark and shadowy domain. Even so, Hades remains one of the most revered deities in the hearts of many ancient Greeks. His love for darkness, his insistence on order, and his control over the souls of the dead have cemented his special place in mythology. While Hades is often associated with death and the underworld, unlike other gods, he does not have a violent personality. Instead, he is more tranquil and authoritative, which is why the ancient Greeks saw him as a god who was both terrifying and just. The story of Hades' birth is not just an ordinary myth, but one filled with father-son conflicts, the whims of fate, and ruthless power struggles. His father, Cronus, was once a powerful god-king who ruled the entire universe. However, a prophecy made him fearful, foretelling that one of his sons would overthrow him and take his place. In response, Cronus decided to take extreme measures by swallowing every child born to his wife, Rhea. This tragic series of events would change Hades' fate forever. Yet, fate never lets any character escape its grasp easily. Even though Cronus swallowed his children out of fear, they would eventually see the light of day again. This twist of fate was thanks to Zeus' wit and bravery. When Zeus was born, Rhea devised a plan to save her child by hiding him and entrusting him to the care of the earth goddess. When Zeus grew up, he was determined to reclaim fate for himself and his brothers. He devised a clever plan and used a potion to make his father, Cronus, vomit up all the children he had swallowed. This scheme allowed Hades, Poseidon, Hestia, and the other siblings to be freed, and together, they overthrew Cronus' rule. However, the father-son struggle was far from over. Since Hades was born after Poseidon, he became Poseidon's younger brother. In the process of Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades deciding how to divide the power, Hades drew the lot for the underworld, thus beginning his reign over the realm of the dead. His territory was not only the resting place of souls after death, but also the foundation for his mysterious powers. From that point on, Hades became the ruler of the underworld, and his authority and sense of justice made him one of the few gods in Greek mythology who was both feared and deeply respected. With control of the underworld in Hades' hands, the Lord of the Underworld began his unique governance. His approach to ruling was notably different from that of the other Olympian gods, which gave him a distinct place in mythology. Hades' underworld was not a chaotic, dark world. Rather, he ruled the shadowy realm with strict discipline and orderly methods. In contrast to the capriciousness and individuality of gods like Zeus and Poseidon, Hades was more like a calm, composed ruler, and this quality earned him special respect in the hearts of the people. As the ruler of the underworld, Hades did not seek to gain more power. Unlike Zeus, who sought to control the heavens, or Poseidon, who was fascinated by the vastness and depth of the sea, Hades had no desire for the luxurious life or the grand sights on the surface world. He did not like sunlight and was uninterested in the opulence of the land above. To him, the underworld was his true home, and he spent most of his time staying quietly in that dark and mysterious land, focusing on managing the souls of the dead. Hades' low-key and calm demeanor made him stand out among the Olympian gods. He was not eager to be the center of attention among the gods, nor did he overly crave worship from mortals. This was in stark contrast to the other Olympians, who were often volatile and prone to conflict. For example, Zeus, despite being the king of the gods, was always eager for more power, while Poseidon, the god of the sea, frequently quarreled with his brothers over territories. In contrast, Hades seemed indifferent to seeking status. He was more concerned with maintaining order in the underworld and ensuring the peaceful rest of the souls. For Hades, the underworld was not just the realm of the dead, but a place where he could faithfully perform his divine duties. In this dark world, he alone guarded everything, leading a quiet life with his queen Persephone. Although he ruled the underworld, he rarely intervened in the affairs of other gods, nor did he long for praise from the outside world. His style of governance was marked by fairness and discipline, which kept him shrouded in mystery and awe in myth. In fact, Hades was not a typical Grim Reaper. His role was not to directly decide the life or death of mortals, nor was he the judge of the underworld. Unlike the three judges of the underworld, Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus, Hades' role was more like that of the highest administrator of the underworld, responsible for overseeing the placement of souls after death and maintaining order within the realm. Hades' task was to ensure that all souls could rest in peace in the underworld, without disturbing the natural order of the afterlife. Therefore, although he was the ruler of the underworld, he did not directly participate in the judgment or punishment of the dead. His work was more focused on maintaining the stability and functioning of the underworld. Despite this, Hades' presence remained formidable, not only because he ruled the underworld, but also because his name itself carried the profound meaning of invisibility. When Hades patrolled the underworld, his figure was almost impossible to grasp, as if it blended into the shadows. This intangible existence only strengthened his mysterious and awe-inspiring aura. All matters of the underworld, whether it was the placement of souls or the laws of the afterlife, were under his control. His power was not derived from dazzling light or grandiose displays, but from an invisible force of rule, silently maintaining the order of the underworld. Unlike Zeus, who led the sacred affairs of the Olympian gods, or Poseidon, who wielded the power of the sea to dominate the world, Hades' divine nature was more reserved and hidden. It was precisely this concealed power that allowed him to occupy a uniquely important place in myth. Hades' presence may not be as obvious, but it is undeniable that the functioning of the underworld relies on his invisible, stable, and powerful control. He is a calm and just god who quietly maintains the order and fairness of the underworld, ensuring that the souls rest there undisturbed by other forces. In art, Hades is often depicted as a strong man sitting on a majestic throne, exuding the aura of a king. His trident or scepter is a symbol of his status, representing his power and absolute control over the underworld. Whenever he appears, he radiates a deep and mysterious sense of threat, a feeling that is further intensified by the three-headed dogs surrounding him, Cerberus. Cerberus' presence is particularly important in Hades' image. This three-headed dog is not only the guardian of the underworld, but also symbolizes its control and authority. It guards the entrance to the underworld, ensuring the souls of the dead can enter, but allowing no one to escape. The three heads represent the endless cycle of past, present, and future in the underworld, as well as the inescapability and numerous difficulties of death. The grim and formidable presence of Cerberus further enhances Hades' image, making him one of the most powerful and mysterious figures, embodying the essence of the underworld. Additionally, the figure of Persephone, the queen of the underworld, often appears alongside Hades. Originally the goddess of spring, she was forcibly abducted by Hades and became his wife. Her presence not only strengthens Hades' position as the ruler of the underworld, but also symbolizes another aspect of the underworld. Amidst darkness and death, there is also a trace of life. Persephone's role contrasts sharply with Hades, and her position in the underworld highlights the balance of opposites in the realm of the dead. This portrayal of Hades presents him not only as the ruler of the underworld, but also as its guardian of order. His calm and dignified demeanor reveals his absolute control over the underworld. Every decision, every soul's placement, operates under his watchful eye without error. His presence not only ensures the continuity of the underworld's order, but also provides clear rules and structure for the afterlife. Whether it's disturbances from the world above or challenges from other deities, Hades always maintains absolute control over the underworld, unmatched by any other. The underworld, as the afterlife realm in Greek mythology, is the final resting place for the souls of the deceased. It is not only Hades' domain, but also the required passage for all spirits. The name Underworld is sometimes also used to refer to its deepest and most terrifying region, Tartarus. This place is the lowest level of the underworld, far more eerie and forbidding than the ordinary realm of death. It houses the imprisoned titans and gods who have committed grave offenses. Tartarus exists like an endless abyss, where escape is impossible and everything is consumed by darkness, with even light unable to penetrate this forbidden zone. The underworld has many entrances, each acting as a different passage into this shadowy world. Hermes, as the messenger and guide among the gods, is responsible for leading the souls through these entrances. With his extraordinary speed, he can travel between the realms of gods and humans, guiding the souls to the entrances of the underworld. For the Greeks, Hermes serves as the bridge between life and death, enabling the smooth transition of souls from the world of the living to the realm of the dead. Once the souls enter the underworld, the most difficult challenge they face is crossing the river Styx, which symbolizes pain and separation. According to legend, all souls entering the underworld must pass through this river to truly enter its depths. Charon, the ferryman, steers the boat, carrying the souls of the deceased from one shore to the other. However, this service is not free. The souls must pay a coin, typically an obelisk, as a fare to cross the river. If they do not pay, they are unable to cross and must wander the banks of the river, unable to reach the underworld. This is why the ancient Greeks would place a coin in the mouths of the deceased, ensuring that the souls could cross the river and find their final resting place. Once inside the underworld, all souls must face the judgment of the three judges of the dead. These judges are Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus, and they decide the fate of each soul based on its actions during life. If a soul is found guilty, it is cast into the deepest pits of Tartarus, where it faces various punishments. Those who are virtuous and innocent are guided to the Elysian fields, where they live an easy, eternal life. However, at the outermost layer of the underworld stands the fearsome three-headed dog, Cerberus, the guardian of the gates. Cerberus has 3 heads, each symbolizing a different stage of the deceased's life, and his sole purpose is to guard the boundary of the underworld, preventing any soul from escaping this endless dark world. Cerberus shows no mercy to those attempting to flee the underworld, whether they are humans or gods. No life, seeking to break through the underworld's grasp, can escape his watchful guard. The structure of the underworld is not only mysterious, but also clearly defined in layers. One of the most well-known areas is the Judgment Place, located deep within the underworld. Here, Every soul of the deceased must face judgment by the three great judges of the underworld, who determine their fate based on the deeds they performed during their lives. These three judges are Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus. They are not only important figures in the underworld, but also the maintainers of its order. First, there is Minos, who was the king of Crete in ancient Greece and was renowned for his fairness. In the underworld, he is responsible for determining the destination of souls based on their actions. Minos' judgments are known for their rigor and impartiality, which is why he holds such an important position in the underworld. He does not rely on emotions or personal biases, but rather makes decisions based on the good or evil actions of the deceased during their lives. Next is Rhadamanthus, the former ruler of the Cyclades Islands, who also has a place in the underworld. His approach to judgment is equally fair, but he places more emphasis on the purity of the deceased soul and their moral integrity. Rhadamanthus is considered a deity of great wisdom and moral sense, and his judgments are always filled with moral authority. For those souls who are guilty, Rhadamanthus decides, based on the severity of their wrongdoings, whether they should be sent to Tartarus, the darkest and deepest part of the underworld, to face eternal punishment. Lastly, there is Aeacus, the son of Zeus and the goddess Aegina, who is known for his lifelong pursuit of justice and order. Because of this, the gods of the underworld chose him as an arbitrator, responsible for mediating more contentious cases. Aeacus' method of judgment emphasizes fairness and reason, giving every soul an equal opportunity to present their case and ensuring all evidence and facts are fully displayed. His role in the judgment process is crucial, as many highly disputed cases require his arbitration, ensuring that every soul is judged in a fair and just environment. When the souls come before these three judges, their actions and thoughts during their lifetime will determine their fate. The virtuous souls will be sent to the Elysian fields in the underworld, where they will live in eternal peace and happiness. On the other hand, the sinful souls will be sent to various areas of punishment in the underworld, where they will endure various sufferings. The most severe crimes will result in the soul being cast into Tartarus, the cursed dark abyss, where they will never escape and will suffer endless torment. The two most symbolic regions in the underworld are the Elysian fields and Tartarus. They represent two starkly different aspects of the afterlife and deeply reflect the ancient Greeks' understanding of morality, justice, and punishment. In these places, the fate of the soul depends on their actions and choices during their lifetime. This arrangement not only shows the order of the underworld, but also serves as a strict reflection on life's ethics. First, for those souls who lived virtuous and morally good lives, the underworld guides them to the Elysian fields, a peaceful and serene place, filled with carefree beauty. Here, the spirits will no longer experience pain or sorrow. Instead, they will enjoy eternal peace and happiness. The Elysian fields symbolize an idealized state of stability and calm, serving as a reward for virtuous and moral living. The souls in the Elysian fields will find ultimate tranquility, experiencing joy in the afterlife. This is not only a reward for their conduct during life, but also a reflection of the fairness of the judgment rendered by the three great judges of the underworld. However, for those souls who lived dishonorable lives and committed grave sins, the underworld offers the most brutal punishments. These souls will be guided to Tartarus, a place filled with endless torment. The punishments here are incredibly terrifying and cruel, and each one carries a deep symbolic meaning, making one ponder the consequences of immoral behavior. One of the most well-known punishment stories is that of Sisyphus. Sisyphus, due to his deceitfulness and betrayal during his lifetime, was punished by the god of the underworld, Hades. He was condemned to push a massive boulder up a hill for eternity. However, every time he was about to reach the top, the boulder would roll back down, forcing him to start all over again. This endless labor symbolizes the futility of human efforts in life, the eternal torment of failing to reach a goal, and serves as a strong warning against meaningless struggle. Another well-known punishment story is that of he was punished in the underworld for failing to show respect to the gods, and for his disrespect towards them. Tantalus was placed beside a source of water that he could never reach, as the water would always disappear when he was thirsty. Similarly, when he was hungry, the fruits hanging from the branches would always move just out of his grasp. This eternal longing and unfulfilled needs symbolize insatiable desires and the emptiness within the human heart, serving as a stern warning against greed and selfishness. In the underworld, aside from the Elysian fields and Tartarus, there is another special and mysterious place, the River Lethe. This river has a unique function. It causes the souls of the dead to forget everything from their past lives, erasing all memories. When a soul passes through the River Lethe, all their emotions, experiences, suffering, and even their identity and name from their previous life are completely wiped away, making them as if they were a completely new soul in the underworld. The existence of the River Lethe carries a deep sense of sadness and mystery. It is not only a part of the afterlife, but also a symbol of the end of life. After crossing the river, the souls no longer remember their life on earth. This process represents how death takes everything away, not only the body, but also past memories and experiences. For the living, this means that all stories and journeys will disappear forever with death. For the souls, this sense of loss is both a form of release and an eternal regret, as they will never be able to recall their past existence. The mystery of the River Lethe is one of the most symbolic aspects of the underworld. It symbolizes the final judgment of death and represents the irreversible passage of life and its eternal disappearance. No matter how much people struggle during their lifetime, there will come a moment when the memory of life will be erased, just as this mysterious river symbolizes. As the ruler of the underworld, Hades oversees this realm of the dead, and his rule and existence embody the order of death and darkness. In this ultimate domain, Hades personally guards the order of death, carrying the mystery and impermanence of the end of human life. The story of Hades and Persephone is undoubtedly one of the most dramatic and emotionally profound love legends in Greek mythology. It is not only a relationship between gods, but also deeply reflects the complexity of human emotions. Persephone, originally the goddess of spring, symbolized the rebirth and flourishing of nature. However, her fate was dramatically altered after an encounter with Hades. According to the myth, Hades instantly fell in love with Persephone and decided to take her back to the underworld as his wife. This act could be described as abduction, as Persephone did not willingly become the queen of the underworld. Before she was ready to accept it, she was forcefully taken by Hades into the dark underworld. This event changed the order of the world and fundamentally altered the cycle of the seasons. After Persephone was abducted, Rhea and Zeus could not bear to see the goddess of spring lost in the underworld. Therefore, they intervened and reached an agreement with Hades. According to this agreement, Persephone would spend several months each year in the underworld, while for the rest of the time, she could return to the earth to spend the spring and summer with her mother. This explains the change of seasons. When Persephone is in the underworld, the world enters the cold and lifeless winter. When she returns to the surface, all things begin to revive, bringing the rebirth of spring. This love story not only reveals Hades' deep affection for Persephone, but also makes the image of the Lord of the Underworld more three-dimensional and emotionally rich. Hades is not a cold-hearted god. His love for Persephone is a deep and persistent emotion. Despite his supreme power over the underworld, he must face the cycles of the seasons and the impermanence of life due to love. This humanized portrayal of Hades transforms him from merely a symbol of death and darkness into a character who reveals the desires and helplessness within his heart as a deity. As time passed, the image of Hades evolved from that of a ruthless ruler of the underworld into a powerful deity who upholds the order of the underworld. He not only rules over the realm of death, but also maintains the operation of the underworld with ruthless fairness and immense strength, making him a key figure in mythology. Despite the underworld being full of darkness and fear, Hades is the one who ensures its orderly function. His existence itself is an invisible force, symbolizing ultimate control and inescapable fate. Under his rule, the underworld is not just the final resting place for souls, but also a realm governed by order and justice. Hades is not a grim reaper who directly takes souls. Rather, he is a god responsible for maintaining the balance and order of the underworld. Whether it is the righteous judgment or the punishment of evil deeds, the underworld operates under his guidance. Every river, every punishment, and every judge in the underworld symbolizes Hades' strict adherence to the rules of death and the underworld. His judgments cannot be taken lightly. Whether divine or mortal, all must abide by these eternal and unchanging laws. Hades' image is not just one of terror in ancient mythology, but in modern interpretations, he is often depicted as a god filled with majesty and wisdom. Many modern cultural depictions of the underworld still base their portrayal on Hades' ruling style. He represents the end of death and symbolizes the impermanence and inevitability of all life after death. It is this image that has kept Hades in a position of awe throughout history, continuing to hold a revered place in modern art and literature. And that concludes the story of Hades, the Lord of the Underworld. We hope this has given you a deeper understanding of his mystery and sense of justice. Hades' realm is not only the final resting place for souls, but also a place filled with order. His image continues to deeply influence our perceptions of death and morality to this day. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends, so we can discuss more fascinating mythological stories. Leave a comment letting us know which part of the story of Hades you like the most, or if there are any other Greek myths you'd like us to share. We'll see you next time, and thank you for watching.